Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and it is like this. Hello, how are you, Brother Nashi? Please post my story as anonymous. I hope that I am going to be okay. If I return back home, I do not know how I am going to survive. As for now, I am staying at this other hostel, which is here in Gauteng. I'm staying in a mining community, and I have been staying here for a couple of years. I was born with a disability. I cannot see properly. I only see things when they are really close to me. Things that are about 10 meters away from me, I can't see. But if the person is very close to me, like about 3 meters, then I can be able to see at least much better. And I also have a bit of color blindness. I do not know the shades of other colors. I am someone that is working as a maid at the hostel where I am working, but I do not work for one particular person. I am just working for different people that are working in the mines, washing clothes, cleaning for them when they are not around. So I am surviving on doing piece jobs. I used to beg a lot by the robots, but now I can't even walk properly. We used to walk for a very long distance going to this other robot, which is on the N1. So it is very far. I can't go there anymore. That is why I am just based here in this hostel. I am barely making 30,000 rands each and every month. I really want to go home, but I don't know what will happen to me if I go home because I am partially blind. Let me tell you a story of what happened for me to become blind like this, even though my parents told me that I was born with some sort of illness that resulted with me becoming partially blind. But there was something spiritual that also happened. When I was still young, I was sent by my mother to go and ask for a 2 liter bottle of cooking oil that one of the neighbors had came to borrow from my mother because my dad used to work at this other factory each and every month, and when he would travel from Blawayo coming back to the village, then he would bring a lot of groceries including cooking oil. We never lacked anything because he was working at a cooking oil manufacturing plant, so he would sell some in the village. So those neighbors, they were very poor and they could not pay back in time. So my mother went and spoke with that woman who had borrowed the cooking oil from my mom. And then she said, I don't have money, but I will try to make plans so that I can get your 2 liter bottle of cooking oil back to you. My mom then sent me to go and ask for that cooking oil that she had borrowed from my mother. When I went there, I saw a creature that was standing at a gate. It seemed like a little man that had black wings, and it flew directly at me and it entered into my eyes, and I started screaming. The owners of that house, our neighbors, they were looking at me. They did not even stand up. They did not even do anything. I still remember that they were drinking tea and sweet potatoes whilst they were looking at me. They did not move. They did not do anything whilst I was screaming. I felt as if there was someone that had dropped some chili into my eyes. I kept on screaming until the other neighbors came out of their houses, and then they said to that woman, you are so evil in your heart. How can you sit there whilst you are eating, yet there is this girl that is screaming, she's standing at your gate? And they started to ask me what was wrong. I told the neighbors that it seemed as if there was sand inside of my eyes, and I felt as if someone had put chili inside of my eyes. That is how I eventually became partially blind. So I came to South Africa without any papers. I was trying to survive in South Africa. These hands of mine, Brother Nashi, they once held 200,000 rands in cash that I was given by my South African bosses, and I returned back to them. That money, I blew it. I don't even know what happened to that money. In order for me to be given that 200,000 rands in cash, I had to sleep inside of a coffin of my bosses whom I used to work for. They have a house, a mansion in Sandton. For you to understand my story, let me take you back to the year 2014. Life was very difficult for me. It was a battle that I was fighting daily and I was losing. Because of my partial blindness, I could not find regular work in Zimbabwe because in our country there is no functioning social grant or financial help for disabled people. If you cannot see well, you have no family to feed you, you face a simple choice. You have to beg or you starve. So I did what other disabled people were doing. We came to Beitbridge and we started to beg for those Zimbabweans that would come and work in South Africa. When they returned back home, we begged from them. And I was then inspired by a blind man that would cross into Messina and he would beg and he would return back to Zim on his own. We don't know how he used to manage it, but when he took me to South Africa, when we crossed Limpopo, he was the one that was a blind man, but he led me and other women, and we were begging in Messina. I eventually ended up here in Joburg. So my eyes are very bad. I can't work in a shop or do day-to-day domestic work. So we had to sit at a busy robot, and then we would know that people that are passing by, there will be some that will throw 5 rand to you, then you pick it up. So every day we would do this, holding a plastic cup, and then the people will give you some coins. And then eventually I saw that I could not manage to walk each and every time walking to that robot. Then it was on a Tuesday afternoon, there was this couple that came. I still remember the first day that I saw them. They were driving a white Mercedes Benz. So they passed me, then they took an off ramp and they pulled towards me and they called me. I went there and we started to talk. This was a South African couple. They seemed to be very wealthy. The woman then told me that she was going to give me money, and she took my plastic cup and she put 1,200 rands in there. I cried tears of joy because I could buy food, I had money. And this was not a one-time miracle. These people, they kept on coming back and back. Every 6 days, they would come with the same white Mercedes Benz. They would take the off-ramp, call me. Every 6 days, they would give me 1,200. This went on for 6 months. They were visiting me once each and every week. I began to look at them as my angels and praying for them. They would not talk that much. They would just give me the money and then they would drive away. At the end of the 6th month, that car came and then they said that they wanted to speak with me. They already knew my name. They asked me why I kept on begging at the same robot. And then I told them that I was just trying to survive. And they said, are you not afraid that people can kidnap you? Because sometimes you are here, you are just a woman. Are you not afraid? And they said, no, I'm not afraid. They said that they wanted to give me a real job. I was very happy. They told me that they were from Durban, but they have a house in Sandton. They use that house for a holiday whenever they are in Joburg, but it sits empty most of the year. They needed someone to live there, to keep it nice, and for someone to stay there. And they are going to give me a free back room to live in, and they will pay me some salary. I did not hesitate. I packed my single bag from the informal settlement and moved into the Sandton house. The house, it was so nice, very beautiful, and I was given a small, nice room at the backyard. My duties, since they understood my disability, I was really happy because the money that they were giving to me, it was so nice. And I was just doing your regular maid duties, the ones that I could do. But there were strict rules. They told me that they did not want me to go upstairs. And as someone that lives with a disability, there was no way that I would want to go upstairs when I was all alone, just in case if I fall, there won't be anyone to assist me. So it seemed as if it was a normal rule if you would not think much about it. So the couple told me about going upstairs, but they would call me when they were in Durban. They'll be like, you can now go upstairs and clean. We are giving you like 45 minutes. So this seemed as if my bosses, they were strict. They did not want me to play around whilst I was upstairs. So I would do my duties and then inform them that I finished. Then they will say, okay, do not go back upstairs again. And they told me that at night I must stay in my back room. I can walk outside, but I am never permitted to enter into the main house when it is during the night. I can only enter during the day to clean. They said, under no circumstances, the lady wrote this on my app. No, under no circumstances must you ever sleep inside the big house. You must only sleep in your room. So since that house, it had nice furniture, I thought that this was the reason as to why they did not want me to be in their house. Maybe they would think that I would do bad stuff. For the first 3 months, I was following the rules. I was extremely grateful. I was being fed nice. But then I started to think about other things that I wanted to do, like to bath inside the jacuzzi. Sometimes I would sneak upstairs, then I would bath into the jacuzzi and I would watch movies, wake up at 10 p.m. and run back to the back room. It was on a Sunday. It was raining. I was inside the main house. They had a big television screen. It was so big, like a wall. I used to love to watch my Bollywood movies, those ones acted by Nigerians. So I was watching that movie and I was sleeping on the couch as if I was the boss, and I was drinking some nice chocolate. It was midnight and I started to doze off. When I had dozed off, because I had said it is already raining and there was thunder and lightning outside, I was scared that I would slip and fall. And I said, my bosses, they are far away, they are in Durban. They will never know that I slept on the couch. I'll wake up early in the morning and clean. So I lay down on that couch and I was just enjoying. Around 2 a.m., that was when I woke up. When I woke up, the house, it was so silent, as if there was something that was walking around, but it was walking in silence. I could feel it in my mind. Then I had a dream again, because when I woke up, it felt as if there was something that just made me to go back to sleep. The moment that I went back to sleep, I saw a snake in my dreams. It came to me, it undressed me, and then it started to sleep with me, but it was speaking in isiZulu. This snake, it slept with me. When I woke up, I saw in my dreams that this snake was vomiting money, your 200 rands, on one of this other bed that was in another room, which they made me to enter later on. When I woke up, Brother Nashim, to my surprise, it was 11 a.m. I don't know what had happened. Just when I woke up, that was when I saw my bosses. They were driving into the driveway. The whole place was still messy. I had not managed to clean the place where I had been sitting and sleeping the previous nights. I tried to quickly sweep, but they were already inside. The madam boss, she was so angry. It turned out that they had driven throughout the night from Durban to Joburg simply because their maid had slept in the lounge. She said, "What did you do in my house? Why did you eat my food?" I tried to lie, but they said, "Do not lie to us." Apparently, what had happened was that their twin daughter in Durban, the moment that it became dark and I dozed off, suddenly collapsed in an unexplained coma, and then they knew that I had broken their rituals. So their Tokoloshim, they told them that it was going to kill their daughter because of what I had done. I fell on my knees. I begged them and I said, "I am sorry. I did not know that I was not supposed to sleep here. I was just lazy to go to my room." And they had a sangoma that they had brought with them. The sangoma then said to me, "If you want that girl that is in the hospital to be okay, we do not want to kill you, but you must help your boss to save their daughter." I asked them, "What is it that was needed to be done so that I can save that daughter?" And the Sangoma then said that they were going to pay me nice money and I can go back to my country as long as I assist them. They did not want to tell me the truth. So I had already agreed. I said I will do it. When you are an illegal foreigner, sometimes when you have been caught by your boss doing bad stuff, you will do anything so that you won't get fired. They took me upstairs to the master bedroom, and then we entered into a room. The Sangoma ordered me to undress completely, and then the Sangoma told me to enter inside a coffin. I did not know that there was a coffin inside. There was a coffin which was underneath the bed. They lifted the bed a bit, but it was already high up in the air. It was not like your normal bed. It has a big space underneath, and they took out that coffin. It was painted black. It even had a black blanket. When they removed it, that was when I saw a snake. This snake that I saw, it was green. It seemed as if it was a python, but green in color. And I was then told to enter into that coffin. I entered into the coffin, and then they closed the coffin for about 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, they removed me from the coffin, and then they thanked me. The woman then called me downstairs, and she went to a car and she gave me cash. It was 200,000 that she had gone to the bank and collect. They said that a car is waiting downstairs. It will drive you straight to your country, but it will drive you to the border and the driver will come back. I said that with the money that I had, I felt much safe to be on the bus, considering the fact that I did not have any papers. So they asked me where I could get a bus to Zim, and I told them, and then we went to the bus station. I got onto the bus. No one even knew that I had all of that money. We managed to arrive in Zim. When I arrived in Zim, I thought that my problems were over, because on the bus, I had been having a dream where I kept on seeing a green python that I had seen at my boss's house, and it was trying to breastfeed on my breasts. I was in Zim. Then I bought some broiler chicks, and I bought some feed and hired 2 guys. All of that money, Brother Nashim, that I used on that project, I never even received a single profit. And I am back to South Africa. By 2024, I was back at zero. The poverty that I witnessed back in Zim, it was more than the poverty that I had witnessed in my entire life. So now I am back in South Africa. I do not know what is going to happen to me. I just hope that God is going to protect me. I once had 200,000, but I know that if someone that is a ritualist gives you money, they will only give you money so as to use you in their rituals, and you will never be able to invest that money. This is my confession. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to us by one of our sister. Let us try to speak with them in the comment section. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Yo.